I'm sitting here with Dion and at Jesus Image School in Orlando, and we were talking about his relationship to his father. And I wanted to ask you a couple of questions about that. You said you grew up in a home. Your dad was in the Army, retired Army.
Yes, sir.
I guess a sergeant probably. And that your mother had, expressed her love for you.
Mm-hmm.
But did your father ever say that he loved you? Did he ever show you that verbal affirmation?
No, actually, he didn't.
Why? Why do you think he didn't tell you he loved you?
Me personally, I thought it was maybe his upbringing and the way that he grew up, and just the way that he thought that maybe men weren't supposed to express expression or emotions. So I attributed it to that.
So, was there a point in your life where he finally said, "Son, I love you"? Or
There was.
and how did that evolve, or what was the situation behind that?
Well, I remember after I got saved, the Lord. I was in worship one day, and the Lord told me. He said, "You need to forgive your dad," and because he had done some stuff when I was younger. He had slapped my mom, and it just some stuff that I thought was really wrong. And I had something against him ever since that time. And so the Lord said, "You need to forgive your dad." And I forgave him. So I told the Lord, I said, I thought I forgave him already. And he said, "No, son, you need to forgive him like I forgive." And I said, "What does that mean?" And he said, "You need to forgive him as if he had never done anything wrong." And I noticed in that moment, I didn't have nothing against him, but at the same time, I didn't have anything for him. And so I wasn't treating him like I treated him when I was really young and we used to go play baseball or go camping and stuff like that. I wasn't running and jumping on his chest and hugging him. And so in that moment, I told the Lord, I said, "Lord, I love that man, and I do forgive him. I forgive him as if he had never done anything wrong." And up until that moment, he had never said, "I love you." Like I'll tell him I love you on the phone, like purposefully, "Dad, I love you," and he would never say it. But after that day, when I did that in worship that day, and I forgave him like that, I think it was that night or the night after, I called him and I was on the phone with him. And at the very end of the conversation, before we hung up, he said, "Son, I love you." And I was blown away. So I had somehow, I don't even know how it works or whatever, I had somehow was holding him captive in the spirit from him reciprocating love back to me verbally. But
If you had a message for people to say, look, if you've never been told by your dad that I love you, what would you tell them? How would you tell them to approach that?
that's a tough question. I mean, I would have to say, ultimately, if your earthly father never told you that he loved you, you have to be secure in your love with God and his love for you, the true father's love for you.
Mm-hmm.
And I feel that if you're truly receiving that love, that perfect love, that pure love, that unconditional love, and that satisfaction from that love, that whether your earthly dad or not tells you "I love you," that you will feel loved no matter what.
Mm-hmm.
And I mean, that would be my answer, because everybody's case is different. So I mean, with mine, it was about unforgiveness, and it may be different with somebody else, though.
Yeah, I was just thinking about the fact that so many fathers don't know how to express verbal love to their children because nobody ever told them they were loved. You said that, but do you think that your father not telling you that you were loved and somehow blocked your relationship with the Father, being able to understand your heavenly Father loved you too? Did you, in other words, was your earthly father a prism to the way you saw your heavenly Father?
Me personally, no, because my family, I was so detached from my family and spiritual things because my family, they were never believers.
Okay.
So that's why I was so connected to God's and His love, because I didn't get that from there. So I absorbed as much as I could from Him and everything like that. But I know there is a connection. A lot of people do see that and have those relationships where they see the earthly as the way they treat the heavenly.
Well, you're a remarkable, miraculous story, and I'm really grateful that you were able to share it with me and allow me to capture this in this way. And again, I'm going to be praying for you, Dion, because I really believe that last night what I felt about you is going to come to fruition, and that you're going to be a mighty presence to many people that have been incarcerated, and have lost hope. And I know you're going to write that book, and you're going to get that out, and you're going to be a ministry that's going to just surpass so much. So God bless you. Thank you again
Thank you, sir.
for sharing with me.